President Xi.
President Xi.
President Xi. President Xi.
President Xi.
President Xi.
President Xi.
President Xi.
President Xi.
I think it would be fascinating to talk a bit to President Xi about
student exchanges, for research collaborations.
New opportunities there are.
The great progress of Chinese universities.
President Xi's trip is extremely important at a time of changing relationships.
I would tell President Xi that
We like Chinese investment here.
And we want to be involved with the internationalisation of the renminbi.
On a global scale.
we're coming into a golden period in China-UK relations.
So we're all very much looking forward to the visit and welcoming President Xi here.
I would really like to meet President Xi.
I think it's a very important visit for the UK. We're very pleased that President Xi is coming. It gives us an opportunity to interact and to discuss things between both countries. That has to be incredibly important.
Well, we're excited about the fact that this indicates the growing strength of relations between the UK and China. So for the whole country, it's good for the LSE, and I think actually good for China and the UK and the world to have these strong relationships. We also have the expectation, though, that this will be connected to closer policy collaboration, business collaboration, and academic collaboration between China and the UK, and we want the LSE to be in a leading position of that.
What you really want to see is what it signifies in terms of the relationship between the two countries. President Xi is coming here at a time of changing relationships.
Well, I think everybody's getting very excited about the state visit coming up next month, because as Foreign Minister Wang Yi said when he was in London and had a meeting with Prime Minister David Cameron, we're coming into a golden period in China-UK relations, and I think the visit is very much going to cement that and identify lots of opportunities, particularly for economic cooperation, but also political cooperation going forward.
Well, President Xi's trip is extremely important to further strengthen the relationship between the UK and China, both for business and for tourism. And I think there are a number of key things that he can cover with the UK government, because I believe the UK can learn a tremendous amount from China in this regard.
Well, I think it's very exciting that President Xi is coming to visit. These high-level diplomatic visits are very important for building relationships between countries, and they bring a lot of visibility so that people in the UK learn more about China and people in China learn more about the UK.
Well, I think we're delighted that President Xi is honouring us with his presence in the UK, and we hope that he will use the trip as an opportunity to highlight the great progress of Chinese universities.
Well, firstly, it's a great honour that the President is coming to the UK, and I know that he has a particular interest in education and potential collaboration between the UK and China. My hope would be from the President's visit that there would be even better understanding of both systems as they are at the present time.
Well, I have enormous expectations because I think there's a lot of excitement about the new opportunities there are for partnership, for cultural exchanges.
It's a very important visit. Relationships between China and the UK are very strong. China is very important to the UK, but also the UK is very important to China. And certainly in financial services, we see the City of London as being one of the gateways to China, to the outside world. So we're all very much looking forward to the visit and welcoming President Xi here.
The President's visit is very important for the UK, and I hope that both sides will seize upon the opportunity to develop the relationship and expand our bilateral ties.
The Royal Society has a long history of collaboration with China going right back to the 17th century, long before this building was built. And we're looking forward
to increase collaboration with China in coming years. And President Xi's visit is an excellent opportunity to increase our activity in this area.
I think it's very exciting. We're very honoured to have him coming to the UK. I think that it's a further confirmation of the close partnership that there is between the United Kingdom and the People's Republic of China.
You know, there's tremendous opportunities for cooperation in the field of finance, financial services. But more than that, the biggest development in the world is the opportunity to participate in the Silk Roads. The opening up of Eurasia as a continent will provide the biggest opportunities for growth in the world in the next 20 years. And China will take the lead in that whole development.
I think it does very much have these two components, one the economic and the other the political, and on the political side, I think what's so interesting is that the UK and China for a long time have had common interests in open trade and in investment across the world, and the UK has shown leadership in recent months in China being fully integrated in the new global economic architecture. So the UK's leadership, for example, in expressing an interest in joining the AIIB, the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank, I think shows how much the UK and China share a common worldview. And then on the economy, what is becoming clearer and clearer is the great fit now between what the UK has to offer and what China is looking for. So in technology and creativity, in the opportunities for China outbound to invest in the UK, the most open of the big economies in the world, whether in infrastructure or in many private sector companies, the opportunities are boundless. It just depends on the energy of business people to take those opportunities. So the President's visit comes at the perfect time.
Between China and the UK, there is an imbalance at the moment in terms of the people moving between the two countries. And the UK inbound to China is about probably 600,000 people now, and that has a capability of growing. So for China, the inbound market has been quite static over the last 4 or 5 years, and there are a number of things that China can do to improve that. The first is to continue to build its infrastructure. The second is to make visas easier for people coming into China, going through electronic visa processing. And the third is to continue to invest in the people, the human capital that are working inside the travel and tourism industry in China. And China at the moment is a huge travel and tourism market. It accounts for around 10% of the GDP in the country, some 7 trillion Chinese yuan. And because most of that is domestic tourism, some 90%, there's a huge opportunity to grow the inbound tourism and business market into China, not just from the UK, but from other parts of the world.
I do. I think that his visit certainly is getting a lot of attention amongst Chinese students here, and they're very excited about the fact that he's coming to the UK. And again, it brings a broader understanding of the opportunities there are for student exchanges, for research collaborations, and for all of the educational opportunities we have in both of our countries.
For sure. I mean, I think there's huge opportunities. Already great progress has been made, but I think that Chinese universities are very attractive for collaboration with UK universities in terms of research in specific fields of excellence, in terms of knowledge transfer. We also hope that there'll be an encouragement of collaboration in terms of student exchange. We believe that more exchange between UK and China will build a generation of young people who really understand each other's cultures and want to collaborate together, and we think that would be fantastic. So there's lots of opportunities in lots of different formats, and we're sure that the President's visit will really stimulate and push that forward. That's great.
Education is of great concern to everybody throughout the world today. And we in the United Kingdom and those people living in China know that the children that are growing up that compete and achieve on a global scale, on an international scale. So I think if there is an understanding of, greater understanding of ambitions, of opportunities that exist, and possible partnerships between China and the UK, all this could be very positive indeed.